10 points for presentation. We're doing this in obedience to the Lord. Oh, look at Ellie name oi name. Oh yeah.
I don't know how. Good.
Kakari. Ke olo olo. Ale ayana oi ke kana ke kakaya pa noi. No makamana. Kari yau. Oh. Oh my gosh, guys. Hello, welcome back. But this time, I'm not feeling very well. I simultaneously started my mai and I'm also under the weather. Well, mai. I started taking medicine ahead of time. So anyway, welcome back. Today's Monday, post-Easter, day after Easter. Jesus is risen. Yeah. And I ended up calling in because it's just all the things today. It's all the things. And little girl stayed home with me. All the pain everywhere. Right now, the congestion, not congestion, but I mostly have a deep cough coming on. And I'm barely even day 2 of starting my money. So that's where I am. We have all consolation here. Almost like the Big Dipper. And it's, I think, about 12:30 in the afternoon. So we're just gonna go about our day, and I want to kind of talk about Lent this year. Just kind of wrapping that up because I know I haven't shared a lot about it on socials, but I have been observing it behind the scenes, off of socials. But we're just gonna hang out and see where we go from here. First, I need to take I need to take my medicine. I don't know if I should take this on an empty stomach. I also feel very swollen. That's new. I just got out of the shower too. That feels refreshing. Happy Monday. Thank you, Jesus. I don't want you to drink mine though, honey. Sige, iho lalo kaya manava inuway. Alam kakaya ko. Lola makalikya na hele kya kulo. Apo po. Who knows if I'm up to going back to work tomorrow? I swear, every time I start my money, it's a whole nother wave of pain. I don't know if that's normal, but it doesn't get easier. It actually gets worse. And I've had some issues with my ovaries. I've had 1 or 2 cysts on my both left and right ovaries when I visited the doctor years ago, before Kelly and I were married, 7 years ago. This is when I was still living on Monjay. And that was the last time I got it checked out. But then, of course, when I ended up having it and I found out I was pregnant and having, I don't remember. It all went by so fast. But I must have been okay because I'm with child. I mean, I have a child. I bore that child already. I'm not with child yet. Thank you, Lord. Okay, let's go. Or go downstairs and find something to eat. Not hi-fi candy. E hia mamanava ha ia na voia oi kakari. Have you never made kila ia? No.
No, never the chocolate like this. No, I'm never the chocolate like this. Never the chocolate like this. No, never the chocolate. No, never the chocolate like this.
Oh, hello. Ape ia ke ia vai? Hone ope ope? Ai, koko mai? Hello? Hano iki na.
Coco.
Ai, here. Alela. Hihi. Ai ke ko ano.
to have.
Oh, mahalo pe. Oh, kukuha mo yun?
Good.
Kukuha.
I.
Where? Oh, mahalo. Okay. Tell it ilalo, ini ka ay. Gosh, lang na yan o ikya. Okay, kaliyaw. Okay, ay kia. Oh, yeah. Hoi, makila eke. Oh, no kaya eli ning oi ni. Halo. Okay, ibu lang. Ayan, makikita ka na, babe. Hiki? Oh, hiki na. Oh, ay? Ayan na mao. Ay, hiki na.
Papa.
10 points for presentation. Just a little bit of agave. If I had granolas, I would sprinkle that in there too. I do have chia seeds. 10 out of 10. Ooh. Makaino ka makuha, ame kikeki, ame kauhane molele, ame. Mahalo ya o Yesu no kia mo na ai, ame. Amene. Kapikana. Inuana I kawai. E pupa akai hiki ke ai, maha. E pupa akai hiki ke ai, mahalo. Mahalo, mama. Vai kawai. Mahalo na. Mahalo. To the son of suffering. Big bite, my poke. The combo of all combos. Poke, specifically fresh spicy ahi poke, and this specific type of chip. Furikake 1-ton chips. Foodland brand. Yeah. Every time. Okay, here come out ginger. Seared, yeah. Cucumber, what? No, this is not cucumber, this is ginger. I don't think they put the right label on top. They are so fragile though. Oh, hiki. Ano? Oh, yeah. Halo Yesu. Oh, no, mali no. Ho mai vai maning. Hoi luna.
kayo Nona?
Forgot I have a load of laundry to take out of the dryer. So I gotta get the basket. Phew. Pooped. Dang. So a little bit about Lent this year. I still have so much to learn about Lent, but I'm trying to find the most biblical application. The Catholics just do it so right with Lent, and they get it right on this one. They get it really right. They get it right on a lot of other things. And to each denomination, agree to disagree, but definitely on Lent. I mean, giving alms, giving your time there where you would normally give your time to this or to television or something, towards the poor, towards the needy, which is that much more meaningful. I mean, it just seems so much more powerful when you apply it that way, as opposed to, I'm just not gonna go on my phone for 8 hours a day. That's not realistic. That's not realistic. I'm gonna delete Instagram app. Okay, great. Who's gonna keep you accountable for that? From this point on, I can't do fasting anymore apart from Lent. When we talk about my own personal application of Lent, last year I know I didn't do the extreme of fasting, only observing, only eating bread and water. Although I will say, last year I was just starting back at work. I had a little bit more time to prep. I did those sticky notes on my mirror. I had a better system in place for myself last year, and I was able to hold my cocoa. I was able to ready for the Lenten season better last year, I think, than this year. And I'm just gonna be honest, from the get-go, I was looking forward to Lent this year. I really was, but the thing that kind of threw a wrench in it was the fact that I didn't finish the shred. So it started with that. It started with me not finishing the shred all the way through. That discouraged me a bit, because I am just the type of person that if I can't complete the routine or the system the way that I initially set it out to be from the beginning, and I don't follow it all the way through, I fail myself. So like I said, I set out to consume only bread and water. I tell you what, it kicked me in the butt. I had done only bread and water for the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then we had a work meeting for 2 days. When it comes to fellowship, especially with us Poe Kanaka, there's always food involved. I had consumed a pretty hefty amount of meat. Oh my gosh, it felt as if someone was pressing in on my stomach so hard. It was so painful. But I know now, and I knew then, it was because I had gone that long with only consuming bread and water. I couldn't even have a bowel movement. It just was so painful, and it was painful for the next couple of days. So that wasn't fun. It was a huge fork in the road. But then from that point on, I just kind of gave up. I tried as hard as I could to observe the bread and the water, but my appetite was all over the place already. Also, my husband is not the biggest help. I'm the only one observing Lent until he senses that he thinks that he's led to do it with me. But again, I tell him, I say, it's not for the purpose of losing weight. We're not doing this to shed a few pounds. We're doing this in obedience to the Lord, because this is what he calls us to. It's not even just about withholding food from yourself, because obviously food is part of, I believe, the biblical way of fasting and praying. But it's not in the mindset and in the perspective that I think us as 21st century Christians think that it is. It's not for the purpose of losing weight. I knew that it wasn't about losing weight, but at the same time, I wasn't taught on what it was or what the purpose of fasting and praying was. Does that make sense? And so kind of the general that I knew, okay, the Daniel fast. But what about the Daniel fast? I mean, can somebody teach me on what that looks like, on what that's about? Why are we following just Daniel's fasting? I mean, he wasn't the only one that fasted. Good grief, Jesus fasted. What did Jesus fast? Hello? Never really heard any proper teaching on what that looked like for Jesus through the lens of scripture. Just saying. So obviously when this thing of Lent came up, when it followed the Jesus way, when it went Jesus's way, when it followed the 40 days and the correlation between the number 40, it just changed my life. How I observed it last year. I had a better system in place. I think I prepped myself better. I didn't do bread and water. I think I mentioned that already. But I do think last year, the prayer system that I had set for myself was prepared a lot better. This year, I focused more on the bread and the water. That's pretty much all I focused on. I'll just be honest, prayer, as far as getting into a room, closing the door and having walls decked out in prayers, that's just not my jam. That's not where I'm at. What I tend to do is I pray on the way to work. So in my car, we do pray with Vayahi, the Lord's Prayer, Maka'olal Hawaii, in Hawaiian, every night before she sleeps. Besides any type of intentional time set aside for prayer, no. And I'm just gonna be honest. Towards the ending, these last few weeks, oh, my beautiful dress. I had prayed really earnestly and diligently for my workplace. And since I touched a little bit on the shred, I think I might have shared a couple of things that I will and I hope to do differently next year to set a better system up for me next year, because I work, because I have a job, and because that's just the reality of what it is. I got through 2 weeks, I think, maybe even 2.5, but after that I was just scrolling and I thought to myself, why are we even doing this? Why are we just scrolling? We're not even applying anything that we're not even reading. Applying anything that we're reading, we're not reading, period. So next year for the shred, I'm going to push myself and begin it during December rather than January, because I have those weeks off during Christmas break. At least during the Christmas break, I have that time off at home. I have that much more opportunity to get it done. During Christmas break, during December, and prayerfully sing that all the way through. Issue. Laundry done.
You know, I think you'll be playing Jesus. I got a phone call with Steve McAvity, who's, you know,
Wants and just be. I never thought of that, you know. And I think, boy, you don't often see that. There's not a performance like it.
Agree. Drinking from a Stanley without the straw. Revolutionary. I'm watching behind the scenes of the making of the Passion of the Christ on YouTube. We watched it Easter Sunday yesterday. I think last year we watched it on Good Friday, but it's a family tradition we're starting to incorporate every Easter. I think that'll be all for today. I'm gonna get started editing this video. My husband should be home within the next hour, half an hour. Get on my computer, maybe do a little bit of work, catch up on some emails, but mostly get started editing on this. Happy blessed Easter. I hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend. He is risen indeed. Let's continue to remember, not just Easter weekend, but next weekend, some random weekend in July, all the seasons of life to come. Let's remember. I'm gonna continue to enjoy my sugar-free honey lemon.